this week, Paul Harriet. And, whoa, I'm going to be in trouble. Okay, look, here's the deal. Progressive conservative leader Tim Hudak is on the roll. Andrea Horwath, the NDP leader, is on the roll. The premier, Dalton McGuinty, is on the roll. The Green and Independent parties are on the roll. We have an election coming this fall. Now, one of the things that came up last year, I did not agree with this. And because I think you look after, I was brought up this way. We look after our own family first. We feed our own family first. And then if we have extras, if we have more, then we invite the neighbors over. Okay? We don't help out the neighbors before we feed ourselves. And I'm thinking in 13 million Ontarians, there are a lot of needy young men and women who want to go to university and can't for whatever reason, and usually it's financial. There is no way in the world that I think that we should be spending $40,000 a year on scholarships available to students from other countries. Not to our province. I just don't get it. Nope. But that's just me. See, here's the deal. Progressive Conservative leader Tim Hudak says he would scrap the Liberal Foreign Student Scholarship Program and divert the funds to more Ontario students. Right now, thousands are diverted to students from other countries who decide to attend school in Ontario. Should these scholarships go to students from Ontario only? For me, I say yes. And I mean, if your family is paying taxes in this province, if you're living in this province and you're a student in this province, you should get first dibs ahead of anyone. And I mean ahead of any other province in this country or any other country. Because I'm a homie. This is Ontario. These are Ontario universities. I don't care. Ontario students should go first. The chair of the Canadian Federation of Students, Sandy Hudson, is with us. Sandy, good morning, and thank you for your time.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. Well, what do you think about this?
I think that the scholarships are a good thing. It's important to recognize that as tuition fees have increased over the years, the problems to access to education has been the same whether you're a domestic student or an international student. And students, by and large, reject this kind of trying to pit one type of student against another type of student. Students should have access to financial aid, all of them, and so we're happy that there is some funding.
Even foreign students?
International students, yeah.
Why? When they have money coming out their ears to pay to get in here, why should we give them any money when students here don't have it?
You think that all international students have money coming out of their ears?
Well, not only that, though, Sandy, I don't want them here. I don't want them here, Sandy. Sandy, I don't want them here. I want Canadians here first.
And why not?
I want Canadians here first. We need Canadians to fill the jobs first, and if we have extra, then they can come. When we got extra positions at the university, then they can come, Sandy.
Okay, so here's the thing. Upwards of 80% of international students remain living in Ontario after they finish their studies.
I could care less. They can buy their stuff. They can buy their way in.
Which means that they're going to be then contributing to the economy. International students contribute about $2 billion to our economy. They help us.
They're taking the place of students here. They're taking the place of Canadians who can't get in because they can't compete.
To Ontarians who haven't paid for these students to go from K to 12. It's a net benefit for us. And the fact of the matter is we want a good education here in Ontario. And a good education around the world includes international students. Doesn't matter where you go, because the diversity of voices, the innovation that comes from having a diverse classroom is invaluable to our students.
I think we can do that without. We have a very multicultural country. We can do that without inviting new people.
International students deserve to have an education just as much as anybody else.
Not in our country, they don't, Sandy. Sandy, I mean, how many taxes? Listen, let me ask you something, smarty pants. How many taxes have you paid? How many taxes have you paid, young lady? How many taxes have you paid, young lady?
The idea that they don't is just wrong.
Look, you know what? What's wrong is you and your lefty point of view.
Always have.
Okay, we're not going to argue like this. You're going on hold. You're on hold now. Now shut up. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6. Okay, Sandy, tell me why again we should bring kids from other countries here to replace our own.
This is not the way that it works. It's not about replacing anybody. And I would appreciate it.
What about a $40,000? Look at, okay, all right, okay. You know what? You can do this with another host on another radio station because we're not going to get along on this. You're just yelling at me, and I'm just yelling at you. Thank you very much for your time. Chuck, what do you make of this? Should scholarships go to students from around the world, or should they go to Ontario students first?
Oh,
Chuck, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, international students are fine. I don't know why you don't want any Canadians to go anywhere else to go to school.
I didn't say that.
Well, yes, you did.
No,
you don't want to give money to people coming in. So, do you think other countries are going to take our students? I think not.
Well, you know what? We usually pay. Chuck.
Canadians can't go anywhere.
No, I didn't say that. You're twisting my words, Chuck.
So you think it's okay for other countries to take our students, but we're not taking any of their...
Yeah, well, wait a minute. Our other countries, have you ever gone to a university in the States? I did, and it's either a scholarship or you pay your own way in. And you get a scholarship for doing something like playing basketball or hockey.
Aren't you talking about scholarships?
What's that? I'm talking of...
Aren't you talking about giving international students scholarships?
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to give a 99% student from Hong Kong a scholarship for $40,000 in Ontario rather than a kid with 98% in Kitchener.
Okay.
That's my point. You see,
so
we look after our own...
There's a 99% student in Ontario who can't get into Hong Kong.
He doesn't want to go there. He wants to stay home. Why would he want to go to university in Hong Kong? They all want to come here. It's the best country in the world. That's why. Rick, go ahead. You're on 570 News.
Hello?
Hi, Rick. Go ahead. Your turn.
Jeff, I couldn't agree with you 100% more than this. I'm behind you 100%. I'm the Canadian type of person. You come here, these are our rules, our laws. If you don't like it, go the hell back where you came from. My kids couldn't afford college, university. I've been at the same job for 33 years where I make $600 a week. I pay $12,000 a year in income tax. I couldn't afford a college education. My kids couldn't. I'm doing a job that I don't like doing, but I have to do it because I haven't got the education for it. I went whitewater rafting 3 years ago in Ottawa. I'm on a raft with 3 Japanese students. I got talking to them. They could barely speak English to begin with. I said, why are you over here in Canada? They said, we're over here. She said, to go to the universities. I almost hit the raft. I wanted to take a bunch of pins and let the air out of the raft and sink us all. I was mad when I heard that. I'm sick and tired of seeing people come from all over the world, whether they're refugees, immigrants, or foreigners, whatever you want to call them, coming over here, taking advantage of our system here in Canada when our own people go without. You get in line, and when you get out of line, you go back to the end of the line.
Thank you. George in Cambridge, what's your opinion?
Yeah, Jeff, I was really trying to understand her and figure out her point of view, but she just wasn't getting it. We should come first. If international students want to come here, let them pay their own way.
Right.
Matter of fact, there should be a premium.
Well, there is a premium. Yeah, there is a premium for foreign students on wherever which way you go. All universities charge that, but I don't mind them coming here. I'm not saying no to that. You come and pay your way in. I'm just not giving you any money.
Exactly. If you want to come here, you pay your premium.
Please, yeah.
This is the best place to come for university.
Thank you for helping me clear that point up. That's what I've been trying to say. You can come here all you want. You pay your way. You pay your way. The taxpayers' dollars here, and don't give me this story. They stay and they add to the economy. You know what? Ontario students will do that too. That's just my take on it. But I don't like the idea of making $40,000 a year. I mean, okay, a $40,000 a year scholarship. I mean, come on. How many local kids could go to first-year university for $40,000? 4 at least. 5, maybe 6 if they don't have to live in a dorm or something. Al, what do you think?
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Our kid's in college and she can hardly get any cash, but McGuinty wants to give $40,000 to someone else from another country. And I have a friend that he's been accepted to a prestigious university in the States, but there's no scholarships for foreign students. If he wants in, it's $300,000 up front. But they don't do that in this country. They just give all the money to people from outside of the country.
Okay, thanks a lot. Let's go to Jim now. Jim, what is your opinion?
How's the blood pressure doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing fine now.
Hey, I'm with you 100%. It's foreign students by all means come over, but don't expect a free ride. And this whole idea of, well, they stay and they contribute, the problem is that there's no guarantee. There's nothing that says, listen, here's a chunk of money for you, but we would like you to stay here and contribute to our tax system in order to get some of that back. I mean, I've covered the University of Waterloo for years, and there's tons of foreign students that fly over here they have rich daddies, and then fly back when they're done, and they contribute nothing. So, you could just throw that 40, you might as well light that 40 grand on fire, because there are no guarantees that they're going to contribute to our society. So you know what? Look after your own household first, and then, like you say, if there's leftover, yeah, okay, invite people in. But you might as well set the money on fire.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to another George in Cambridge. George, go ahead. George, you have to turn that radio down.
Oh, hang on a minute. There you are.
Go ahead, George.
Okay, all right. I helped my granddaughter to go to university, but even with I couldn't help her that much. She has an MA and a BA, and she's doing well, but she also has a $70,000 debt, and she has to pay that back. Now, I can't see why she should be in that position, and we should be supporting some other country's students. I just don't agree with that.
Okay, thank you very much. I have to take a brief time out for a breath. And for those of you who don't agree, you can have one too. What do you think? Now, last year, Premier Dalton McGuinty came up with this foreign scholarship thing. He announced it during an official trip to China last November, that his government would provide full 4-year scholarships to graduate students from other countries who wish to attend an Ontario university, beginning with 75 students this fall and ramping up eventually to 300 participants. The government is investing $20 million in the first 4 years, and the universities will put in another 10. If elected, Tim Hudak says he'll cancel it after the first year. Should the scholarships go to students from Ontario only? I say yes. Others do not agree. I'll take your calls now. Here are the phone numbers. This is 570 News.
I've covered the University of Waterloo for years, and there's tons of foreign students that fly over here and then fly back when they're done, and they contribute nothing. You might as well light that 40 grand on fire, because there are no guarantees that they're going to contribute to our society.
Last year, the Premier announced a program when he was on a trip to China that Ontario would spend $20 million in the first 4 years making available scholarships, $40,000 a year scholarships to graduate students who want to come to school in Ontario. Right? So we're going to give them money to come to school here. I don't agree. Should the scholarships go to students from Ontario only? Well, I think so. I'm not saying no to foreign students. I'm saying you pay your way. And here's something from a number of emailers are coming in here now. I'm a student at Laurier, and I'm paying hand over fist for my education. I look down the street at Waterloo, and I see all these students sailing into school, not being able to speak English, and taking all our jobs and money. I am fully dependent on loans because some other international students taking our spots. Sincerely, really poor student. Okay? Here's another one. Ontario tax dollars should not be invested in foreign students. If private dollars wish to be granted to foreign students to study here, then that is up to those individuals. But using tax dollars for this is like taking our gas tax dollars and building roads in Idaho. There's another point. Good morning. You're absolutely right, but there is another issue with this. As far as I know, there is no health checkup required for these students to enter the country either. But they can come and go as they please. Let's not mention the background checks, okay? Here's another one. Good day, Jeff. The callers who disagreed with you are not true Canadians. I agree. We take care of Canadians first. I'm not even going Canadians. I'm saying Ontarians, because that's the deal. It's Ontario that's done this. I just feel, obviously very strongly, that you look after your own first. We have plenty of students here. You know, we always say we want to have the best and the best educated in the world. Well, you know what? When you get right down to it, what's the difference between 98% and 99%? What's the difference between 94% and 96%? It's an A+, or in the States, it was a 3.80 or 3.90 average, I remember when I was there. It's, you know, if you're smart, you're smart. We have plenty of smart people right here, and plenty of people from all over the world who've moved here and made their home here. We don't have to have other people come and take their places. Now, if we're talking a difference between somebody has 60% and somebody has 90%, there's a big difference there. But we have plenty of people making the grades in our universities. I don't think we need to pay for foreign students to come. That's just me. Rob in Kitchener, what do you think?
I have to agree with you, Jeff, but I don't understand what the hell is wrong with our foreign, our immigration department. You know, we go over to the States, we have to wait over a year to get our immigration papers over there. When they come over here, it's just a hand up piece of paper right away. It's here. You're a Canadian now. You can go to school and do this, do that. This doesn't make sense to me.
Me neither, my man. Thank you very much. Let's go to Bob in Kitchener. Bob, what is your opinion?
Well, he made this announcement in China, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm assuming Chinese students.
Well, there could be some, yeah, I would imagine, yeah.
So this is a country that's busy trying to get an aircraft carrier in the water, developing more nuclear weapons and building a space program, and then somehow we have to give them scholarships to educate their students while we don't have the same stuff over here. Is that how it works?
You know what, Bob? I don't know if anyone could put it better than you just did.
There's just no understanding and no explanation on how the liberal brain is wired. It's got to be some kind of mental defect that I can't put my finger on.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, man. Another Rob in Kitchener. Rob, how do you feel?
Hey, Jeff, I agree with you 100%, man. 100% with you. But I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
That girl that you had on, your host there, that started the show?
Yeah?
Could you, for the life of yourself, imagine being married to that squawk box?
Well, I don't know. That's a question for another day. But you know what? You know what I heard? I heard a young woman trying to read from a paper in front of her. And she was not listening to me. And quite frankly, for those of you who are, I wasn't listening to her too much either. Because I'm trying to talk. She was trying to talk. When I step back and let her talk, it doesn't matter. When you know something, when you have that kind of conversation over a telephone, it never really works. Because you don't know when someone ends or starts. And we tend to cut each other off. And when you're looking at somebody eye to eye, you can see when they're starting and stopping. So, you know what? Maybe I could have handled that interview just a little more smoothly and heard her out. But I think we heard her point, didn't we? So what was the point of going on any farther? She disagreed with me, and I disagreed with her, so then you just stop the conversation. You know, I mean, what's the point? Jim, you're on 570 News.
Jeffrey, I've got to take you to task a little bit this morning because you attended university in the United States on a scholarship.
Yeah.
And I do feel that maybe you took a scholarship away from an American student. Maybe there was a black kid in the ghetto in Buffalo whose marks weren't quite as good as yours, and he didn't get into school, and this white boy from Canada did. And you talked about the student coming with 99% and getting a scholarship, and a Canadian with 98 who didn't. I'm just saying, I'm taking you to task on that one, Jeffrey.
Well, you know what? I can throw an argument back at you. I was from London, right? You know how many people we brought in from the United States to play at the University of Western Ontario?
Having a clue.
Oh, there's all kinds of that, buddy. It goes both ways. And I think when it comes to a scholarship for when you're doing something for someone, let's put it this way. Scholarships in that respect are different because you make a contract to play ball, to perform and make money for the university. And they, in turn, their part of the deal is to give you an education. What's the deal here? Are they coming and making money for the university? Are they bringing anybody into the stands?
Well, some of them do it because they are truly gifted students.
Okay.
They do work on projects that get money for the professors and for programs.
Okay. But Jim, how many of them, right? We don't have enough of them here in 13 million Ontarians. That's my point.
Yes.
I hear you. Okay, I hear you. But as the caller before you said, we're not. If we're talking about places like China, for example, they're doing pretty well. Do we need to bring them in? I agree to a point. Fund our students first. But here's the problem: there are lots of scholarships for Canadian students going begging. I was a scholarship student, and I applied for tons that I never actually qualified for, and got because no one actually qualified ever did apply. I got thousands because of that. There are programs that are empty of Canadian students because Canadian students don't want them. So why are we offering them? As for Canadians going overseas, we do. For graduate studies, for special programs, my brother went to Australia for a program not available in Canada, and for experiences. There is no guarantee Canadian students will stay in Canada either. I have several college roommates who are working overseas because they couldn't get jobs here that would pay the bills and the student debt payments. They would love to work in Canada, but can't afford to. By the way, in spite of the thousands I got in scholarships, probably close to 50,000 over 4 years, I still have 30,000 in student debt. And I'll be in debt till my own kids are ready for college. And my parents had a $15,000 college fund for me, too. Why the heck is school so darn expensive anyway? So see, that's sort of double explaining a couple of different angles on it. Let me go over here. Doug in Guelph. Doug, go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, the big difference between what's going on here and what you did was you earned it. It's not being handed. It wasn't handed to you on a silver platter the way these guys are getting it, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe they've earned it with their marks, but still, they're not paying their way. And that just upsets me to no end, because for the very reason that George said. We're gone.
Okay. Thank
okay,
you.
We lost you. I think I'm gone.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks so much. Okay, I want to take a look at another email here and see if here we go. I agree with you. No tax money should be given in the form of scholarships to foreign students. If they choose to go, they should pay their own way, and it costs them double what an Ontario student would pay. And it generally does, to be fair, guys. I know, and you know something? Going back to Jim, who said he was taking me to task, the scholarship for a student outside of America at that time cost more. My own nephew, who was recruited by universities before he chose the OHL, you wouldn't believe how much they were offering for him to go and play hockey. $50,000 a year for some schools. These are private schools. So, yeah, I mean, but you know what? That's a private school with private money paying for that. This is government. This is our government giving the money, okay? Let's keep that in